Hey everybody, it's Jody. It's been quite the weekend. I am recording this on Monday, June 1st, 2020, and I like to timestamp things these days because, man, the world is changing so fast. And I am thinking today about freedom and accountability. And I feel like I want the freedom of my life. I want to be able to do the things I want to do. And yet I try to think about how it must be to be someone of color in the world, and everything I think is important becomes so much less important. I look at my life as one of amazing ease, and all the things that I thought were so important and so monumentally challenging for me in my life pale. Pale in comparison. I feel like I have to be so careful what I say. I don't want to do that because I want to be real with the conversations. And yet I don't want to appear as if I'm entitled and I'm using white privilege. I don't even know what that means. I mean, I'm learning a lot more what that means. And I'm learning about my own desire for freedom in a way that has very little to do with the actual desire for freedom that people of color have probably felt for generations. And I'm in this weird space right now because I want to talk about how we can build our organization so that we can have both freedom and accountability, so that people will realize that with the freedom that they want, whether it's the freedom to have the car, like I was talking about in the post here, there will be accountability. You get a ticket and you got to take accountability for that. If I want the freedom to do X, then I have to realize there may be consequences to it. And yet everything I've talked about in business and organizational dynamics seems so unimportant right now because of where we are in the world and because of where we find ourselves in our own personal journeys. Yet this is exactly the place that I feel I need to be right now, because my calling, my mission is to have conversations about things that matter, even if they're difficult. And if we want to have the conversation, if we want to have, let's say, if we want to have the results of the conversation, then we have to be willing to have the conversation. And on the other side of the difficulty of connecting and having these dialogues, it might be messy and we might not get to the other side of it, and we might find things that we don't want to know, and we might have to all upset our perceived comfort. But that's the point. Right now, I don't think there's anybody in the whole world that would have said, I wanted to have an opportunity for the whole world to slow down. I wish that we could stop our businesses. I wish that we could isolate ourselves in our homes. I don't think anybody would have said, this is what we want. Yet, this is what we have. And now throw on top of that this whole huge George Floyd episode with all of its uncertainties and with all of its dynamics and all of its angst and all of its frustration and upset and generational suppression of feelings. I don't have an answer. I don't know. Yet I really do believe that if we break this huge, huge issue in the world down, break it down, break it down, break it down, break it down, we can break it down into manageable chunks where we can work it out, do our best to understand, take accountability for that conversation that we have with the people in our neighborhoods and the people in our close circles, so that we can help each other. I don't even want to say figure it out, because that puts it into a logical place that there may not be logic for it, but maybe in a way that allows us to at least connect. And if we don't agree, at least to respect another perspective. I believe that's possible. I have to believe that's possible, or I don't know what I would be here to do. And so if you're interested in having conversations like this with maybe without a clear outcome, without a clear, black and white, again, to use that terminology, right and wrong, good and bad outcome, this is where you need to be. Join us in our Get Real circle. We're in the messiness and we're willing to work it out with each other, not just hold the space and, send good thoughts, but to jump into the middle and to jump into the difficult and the messiness and to do our best to hear and understand and process what's happening with other people. I think this is possible in our space for sure. And then what can be possible for us as we take what we're learning here out into the rest of our lives? I believe it's possible to come together and connect when we get real, radical, energized, authentic, and learning based. When we get real and we do that in the space of other people who are also doing it, I believe that's where we can start. I don't know where it'll end, but this is where it can start. So if you're interested, please join us in our Get Real circle and let's work it out together. There's some really fun things on the way. Fun might be a relative term, but for me, it's fun to figure things out and to do it with other people who are up to at least the same type of conversation. So please join us. Thanks.